Looks like Flameheart's back on the menu, boys! That's right, the king is returning, and I'd imagine that would be soon, as I took on a daring quest facing challenges that would put my skills to the test, all whilst finding our long-lost leader that the Reapers have needed. Soon, the seas will be ours, and if you agree, then hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for this tale. I heard rumours of a pirate looking for help along Shipwreck Bay, so over I headed, not sure what to expect, but arriving there, I spied a portrait of Pendragon and a book at the side. As I picked up this book, Pendragon appeared in front of me, telling me of his lost and trapped crewmates. Once again, as always on the sea, it was their souls that were trapped. Greymarrow really gets around these days. I agreed to help, as no matter who it is, an adventure is an adventure. But as he climbed back into his portrait, I shot it, showing my disrespect to this silly facial haired man. Without wasting any time, I set sail, following what appeared to be ghostly projections of ships, following in the path of both Greymarrow and the fleet. Eventually, I came upon one sunken, and as I entered the waters whilst holding up a new lantern that I was given, I could see the suffering that was felt here. The sailors drowned, including the captain, Martha Jane, whose skull I picked up. As I got up out of the sea, there was Pendragon again, holding his sword up with a glowing light. This looked pretty strange, but I went over to him, handed the skull, and just like that, he had apparently saved her, although she didn't seem too keen on her other captain friend that fled, but it was him who I would have to chase down next. The hunt for Randallstone was on, following more ships which led once again to the remains of their vessel. However, he had made it onto land, only to be shot down by skeletons, and as I dug up his skull, I once again handed it over to Pendragon. But whilst he was giving me his speech and freeing this soul, even the island didn't want to listen to him, as I was thrown into the air, falling and finally spending some time with the ferryman. Once I arrived back though, I checked the journal and was now requested to head on over to Morrow's Peak in order to spot where they were taking the last unknown soul. Why should I chase down someone that we don't know, I first thought. But onwards I travelled, spying more ships and chasing after them, but as I arrived at the island and held up the lantern, I could see Greymarrow and his crew carrying them across land in a chained up sarcophagus. I knew this person had to be important, and I had to find out who it was, so I followed them down into the pit. Here I faced off many skeletons, blocking the entrance and hoping to keep me out, but this was obviously light work for me, as they were all dealt with. Until Pendragon opened the door, and as I got inside, I saw them lay down the coffin, which on approach, I opened, and saw him, what looked to be the remains of none other than our King Flameheart. So of course, I took his skull, not telling Pendragon who this was, and allowing him to unleash his soul upon the seas.
Another trapped soul.
He began his ritual, and soon, he was there. Flameheart's head filled the skies, showing himself and promising that the Sea of Thieves was about to change, and I for one was excited to hear what was to come, and Pendragon looked defeated. Ha! After this, and the skies cleared, he mentioned visiting the tavern at Morrow's Peak, so I headed on over there to find out what would come of this, and understand the plans of the so-called Guardians of Athena. Arriving there, I spoke to Tallulah, who gave me another journal and told me to speak to Grace outside, but as I did, Pendragon returned once again, and they both spoke of their betrayal from Stitcher Jim, a pirate who was preparing for something big, so I knew I had to meet him, but first, I had to track him down. Looking through the journal, he had taken to his hideout inside of Liar's Backbone, so over I headed, sailing away whilst getting hit by multiple molten rocks from the volcanoes. Once I had arrived, there were strange markings on the wall in there, so I worked through them, attempting to solve this puzzle, until eventually a hatch opened, showing a strange gem and some more notes. I took the gem, and after some more reading, I saw that I had to head over to Devil's Thirst, which was a fair distance away, but eventually I arrived, climbing to the peak before lighting a beacon, showing me an entrance to the new cave. Using the gem, I opened up this entrance as I began to swim through. However, inside, it was filled with jumps and traps looking to catch me out before arriving at 3 doors, 3 separate paths. I took one at random, seeing traps and paths of fire leading me through tunnels until reaching an open area filled with skeletons. Once again, I was battling through them, hoping to meet Flameheart at the end of all of this, pulling open the door, running through more and jumping over platforms until there he was. Stitcher Jim opening a chest, but it affected his arm, and blaming Flameheart, he ran away as the doors closed behind him. I took the chest, and Flameheart knew that I was here for him, but for now, it was too soon. He would need to gather up the strength and power again to rule the seas, so I headed out, handing over the chest to Pendragon for him to finally see his friends. But little did he know, Flameheart was amongst us, waiting for his time to strike, and that time would be soon. If you like tales like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, but until next time, arrgh!